Hello and welcome to Indian Express Online. We saw another somber day of proceedings at the Kanhaiya Kumar hearing at Patiala House Court. Despite the Supreme Court's very clear instructions to Delhi police to ensure that the proceedings went off without any hassles, we saw some very unruly scenes. In particular, we saw Kanhaiya Kumar being punched and kicked, apart from other violent events where lawyers again were involved, pretty much the same lawyers who were in question yesterday. In this regard, I wanted to talk to my colleague Amrit about how he saw the whole development of the day. In particular, the Delhi police's position, whether it was competent, whether there was a partisan approach in its conduct.
I suppose you've summed up the story of the day pretty well. That, see, it was almost a rehash of what happened on Monday. You had a similar lot of people taking law into their hands, attacking people who were there. Reporters said, our own reporters came back and said that they felt threatened. You had Kanhaiya Kumar coming into the court. He was basically attacked. And you had cops basically standing and watching. Clearly, either they were surprised by the kind of attack which happened, or they were not prepared to take on the lawyers. Either way, despite having an indication that this is going to create a certain amount of tension, they should have been prepared. And Supreme Court had given indications to that thing. And if you look at it, I mean, as the day panned out, you had 2-3 things. One is Supreme Court was simultaneously hearing about the petition. And then they had sent a team essentially of senior lawyers to the lower court to see that. They came back and gave this report saying that they were abused in court, one, and Supreme Court has also taken it very seriously in the sense that, they've said that, they've called the police commissioner to come and present a report, explain what has happened, and they said that if you cannot handle the law and order situation, which is your responsibility, we are likely to give orders. So it basically indicates that Supreme Court has taken it very seriously, what has happened today.
So is this just about incompetence on the part of Delhi police, or is there a certain amount of very clear bias?
It could be both. So incompetence, I'm not so sure, simply because, we all know if a police force wants to prevent something in this country, they are quite capable of doing it. We've seen them do that with student protests, etc., or Adivasi protests or Dalit protests, etc. So it's difficult to believe that it's incompetence. Then what is it? I mean, is it that, you take the case of, action on Monday's events. There were a lot of photographs, there was video footage about specific people targeting students, academicians, political activists, etc. And no action has been taken on any of them. You had an BJP MLA who was basically thrashing up. And they're saying that they're still taking, if you had taken action on Monday's events, if you had, it would have gone as a warning signal to people that, whoever you are, you're unlikely to be allowed to take law into your own hands. And it could have gone down, the message would have gone down, I think. That didn't happen.
Later on, there was this episode where reporters did catch up with Mr. Bassi and had a longish chat. And it was not very clear, he sort of was going back and forth in his response. What did you make of?
I thought he was a bit defensive. First, I think he would have got indication that, considering that Supreme Court was carefully looking at the events in the lower court today, that what happened doesn't do well for his force. The second thing I felt was basically that tomorrow we'll get a clear idea about what his presentation is going to be like, how is he going to justify what happened and under his watch. So that seems to be the...
I would sort of want to get back to the main, the protagonist in this story, as it were, Kanhaiya Kumar. We're just looking through an appeal that Kanhaiya Kumar has shared with the media about how he's essentially talked about the same things that he has said in several of his speeches that we've seen, in particular one that has actually gone viral in the social media, and essentially repeating his commitment to the Indian Constitution, to the fact that he denounces many of these the things that were happening apparently in JNU campus, which are perhaps being held against him. So in that sense, what was very odd was that his stand has not changed at all. And to the best of our knowledge, to what we can report and understand, that hasn't changed. And and yet the public opinion, I don't know how it's sort of panning out. And what did you make of that? I mean,
see, to me, there is a certain clarity about where Kanhaiya Kumar stands. Now, what does this letter say? That I believe in Constitution. I don't. I'm not an anti-nationalist, which is precisely what he said earlier. Also, there was never a question about this man's credentials. I mean, he belongs to a mainstream left-wing organization which was established in 1936. So there is a certain track record which the organization has followed. He as an individual has followed. So there is no reason why there has to be even a debate about whether he has changed his position. He hasn't, because there was no reason for him to change. What we know is we clearly know where he stands, but we don't know
where the establishment is.
Yeah, when you're accusing him of sedition, we don't know on what basis it is being done. To this date, we haven't been clearly told that this is why this man has been booked on these charges. The second thing I would also want to add is that there is also a need basically to problematize issues like nationalism and state. These are not sacrosanct entities which should be, seen as unquestionable categories. So that's something which seems to be missing from the debate, considering the kind of heated arguments which we are seeing on the basis of nationalism.
Yeah, I'm not too sure whether the debate would immediately mature, but very quickly, how do you see this now going forward?
I think he's been given 14 days of judicial custody, so they should be moving the bail any time now in court. So from there, I think it moves on. So the police have clearly said that they're not going to oppose a bail plea. So it's most likely that he might be freed soon. We'll see from there on.
Thanks, Amrit. So, as you saw that, this is a fast developing situation, at times looks volatile. Let's keep track of it, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.